is the day before the specialized high school exam.
Not for me.
Not for me. Yeah, mine is on Sunday.
I totally understand that. So for some of you, you're taking it tomorrow on Saturday, or you're taking it on Sunday. So this is the day before the weekend of the specialized high school exam, okay? And so a lot of you guys have been studying for months. Some of you guys we've had since February. Some of you guys kind of trickled in throughout the whole process. But either way, you put in a lot of work. We had weekend classes. We had our online classes. We expect you guys to be exceptional. You've worked hard enough. Obviously, we're taking this exam to get into one of the 8 schools. But to be quite honest, it doesn't matter where you end up. What matters is you would have built the grit, the discipline, the hard work, and the intelligence to shine wherever you go, okay? We've also emphasized the importance of collaboration and using your resources in this program. So we expect that when you go to high school, you're actually gonna rely on one another, you're gonna reach out to your teachers, and you're gonna leverage your peers to be successful. Now we have 2 visitors here from Stuyvesant who would love to share a few words with you about taking this exam and of course the road to a top high school.
Okay, hi, I'm Steven. I'm a senior at Stuy.
I'm William. I'm a sophomore at Stuy.
Yeah, so you guys have obviously been putting in a lot of work. You've been doing it for a long time, and it'll pay off. Just the fact that you've done the test prep is most of it. Between now and Saturday or now and Sunday, nothing's going to change. You guys have already put in the work, and you should all be proud of that. And you'll hear back from it in a little while. So that's fantastic. A lot of people don't have the preparation you do. So you should be proud, you should be happy, and just give it your all, either tomorrow or Sunday.
My words of advice would be confident. Like, you guys have put in the work, you guys have put in the hours, and that's totally gonna show not only tomorrow, but wherever you guys end up in high school. Like, you guys are exceptional, you guys are gonna do well. So I think just be confident in yourself, be confident in your performance tomorrow, and I think no matter where you guys end up, you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be great.
All right. So did you guys have any last questions before the exam?
What did you do the night before the test?
That is an excellent question. So Zuri asked us, what did we do the night before the exam? So at that point, there was really no studying. There was me getting an excellent night of rest, amazing food, right? I packed my bag for the next day, so I had my number 2 pencils. I had a timer, like some sort of a clock that I could take with me so I can time myself on the exam. And I was talking to my friends because there was a group of us that were going to the test together. So of course we were in freak out mode, but we were excited about it. I was gunning for Stuyvesant, and so I was kind of getting my mind ready for me getting into Stuyvesant. That was like, you know, my little preparation process. What about you guys?
I just kind of chilled out the last day. Like, there's nothing more you can do. You've put in the effort already. So came home, played some video games, ate a good dinner, and went to bed early. And then I packed my bag the night before, so I made sure I wasn't stressed at all in the morning, and I had a good meal.
Yeah, I took the night off. I went to sleep early, I remember. So it's really important that you get a good night's sleep before the exam because you guys are probably going to have to wake up early to get there. I know some of you. So it's really important that you're well rested, that you're kind of in that mentality. A lot of people psych themselves out while waiting in line or before the test. Like, you guys should just be calm and be confident in yourself because there's nothing you can do at that point when you're waiting in line. So I think just trust yourself that you're going to do well on this test.
How are the racial communities in Stuyvesant High School?
So obviously everyone knows that there are a lot of Asian kids at Stuyvesant.
Yep.
Like 70% around there. And the African American population is very, very small. We are both here because we're part of the Black Students League, which is one of the cultural groups that we have at Stuy, which is just a support network for African American students. And it's a way for upperclassmen to advise incoming freshmen, even sophomores. We want to make it a welcoming place for all of you guys, and our goal is to have as many of you guys there as possible. We also have like Hispanic Students Association, Southeast Asian associations, but yeah, the racial dynamic at Stuy, it's totally fine. I have never had any like really serious problems because I'm one of the few black students at Stuy.
And something that I know I said before, a lot of people are kind of scared by the 70%, that they're 70% Asian and that there's so few black people. Even among that 70% that's Asian, there are so many people of different backgrounds, who come from different communities, and I think it's really important to keep in mind that this is New York City. You have people from all over the world, and that's really reflected, I think, in the student body. And also, race isn't the first thing that's on everyone's mind when interacting with each other. So, like, people really look past race because we're in this struggle together. We all, regardless of where we're from, we all come from, many of us come from immigrant families, and that really brings a lot of students together and really makes a sense of community at the school.
And real quick, I can speak to Bronx Science. It was a very similar experience at Bronx Science. There was a heavy Asian population, heavy white population, black and Latino students were in the minority. Yet, I still did not feel isolated. To his point, we all share that immigrant background. We all share, our experience of being new to America, whether it's us or our parents, and us having to figure out this education experience together, but being exceptional while doing it. And so the focus was just on doing well. The focus was on being smart and going on to be successful in life.
One thing that really differentiates Stuy from the other specialized high schools is the reputation. So the name Stuy in and of itself just carries so much weight with employers, with colleges. So throughout your life, just having gone to Stuy gives you a really big advantage over a lot of other schools.
Yeah, I also think like the thing about Stuy, like it's a great community too. Everyone knows, like within Stuy and after you've graduated, everyone knows that like it's a hard school to get into and it's a hard school once you get there. That like people work hard and that people value how hard you work, and that's something that you're gonna carry with you the rest of your life.
So to that point, what we're talking about is a brand, right? Schools have what we call brands. And so when a Harvard, Princeton, Duke, Yale is looking for a caliber of a student, there are certain high schools that have a brand and when I say brand, I mean certain ideas or like a training that the college admissions counselors would know if you went through a Stuyvesant high school, you are ready for the rigor of education that I can throw your way. I'm confident that a student like that is going to do exceptionally well in my college program. Okay, so even as you go on into your careers and for you guys as you go on into internships, the power of a brand matters. We talked about your personal brand and who you are, and when people say your name and they think about you, what are some of the adjectives and descriptions that come up? You have to think about the same thing, when you think of these schools. When you think of Stuyvesant, what are the first words that come to mind? Can you guys give some examples of that? Like when you think of your Stuyvesant high school experience, what are some of the first words that you think come to mind?
Rigorous. It's very rigorous, and I think colleges and employers, they know that. Like, they know that you're going to go through a lot and you're going to have to achieve a lot to do well at Stuy, and they keep that in mind when they're looking for people to apply.
And what's a few words that you can think of?
The word that sticks out to me the most is opportunity. When you get into Stuy, you're introduced into a place that lets you really do basically what you want. If you put your mind to it, and if you put in the hours, and if you really want something, you can get it.
So when I'm looking at, for the creme de la creme, and you guys know what that means the cream of the crop, they're gonna go to these schools first. Okay, so when I think number one, that's how I thought about Stuy. And I did not go to Stuy, but I knew that it was the number one school. So in my head, and this, is obviously debatable, but in all of New York City, when I'm looking for the number one kids, the best, I'm going to Stuyvesant first. Okay, so you automatically assume that brand when you go to a school like Stuyvesant. Just by definition of you being there, you are the best.
I know that at Brooklyn Tech, you need to be in at least one club and one extracurricular activity to graduate. Do you have to do that at Stuy also?
There are very few requirements for graduation at Stuyvesant. You have to take music and art appreciation, but there are no requirements for like extracurriculars activities. But if there's anything that like all Stuy students have in common, it's that like they do extracurriculars. I don't know anyone that's like not heavily invested in like something outside of academics. We're not just all nerds.
Right.
I know like a lot of people think that, but like there are a lot of really, really talented people in things other than academics. Our sports programs are great. The school musical is fantastic, and it's a lot more than just academics, and you'll want to join extracurriculars.
I think that it shouldn't matter whether you need it or not for graduation. Like, you should do an extracurricular because you are committed, because you are passionate, and that's what colleges are looking for when they select students. They don't want students who do extracurriculars because they have to. They want students who do extracurriculars because that's what they're passionate about, because that's what they're interested in pursuing.
And the last piece on extracurriculars is leadership. The whole purpose of these extracurricular activities is not to do these random tasks. It's to demonstrate leadership around something that you have a passion for. So it's not, you're gonna just join a fashion club or join a dance club. At some point, you need to start to inform the direction and growth of those extracurricular activities. You got that, Giovanni? Are you with me? So even if you're on the sports team, at some point you gotta be the captain of the team. At some point you gotta be supporting the coach to maybe think through different plays, right? That's how you demonstrate leadership around any extracurricular activity that you're involved in.
And I just want to add, there's so many opportunities for leadership at Stuyvesant. So every club has a president, and there are over 150 clubs at Stuyvesant. So anything that you're interested in, there are opportunities for leadership there.
And if it doesn't exist, as we've told you guys before, you started. The resources are there. That's another benefit of going to these top schools. They have money, they have resources to support you developing whatever you feel the school environment needs.
I wanted to know if you see a lot of other African Americans at Stuyvesant.
I mean, just like numbers wise, like there aren't very many of us there. But like through the Black Students League, which I've been doing for 4 years, like there's definitely a community there that really wants to support you, both now and after you graduate, and like through your life. Like all of our open houses at Stuy, when we do diversity open houses, we get a bunch of alumni that were at Stuy, that were in the Black Students League, that are very happy and want to help and want to provide that sense of community for African American students at Stuy.
And I think even coming to Stuy, even though there aren't as many Black students, immediately coming to Stuy as a Black student, you're going to have connections with the other Black students at Stuy. So I know my freshman year, I didn't know any other Black students, but whenever I saw them in the hallway, we would always have that immediate connection. Like, I am here, you are here, like we both are going through the same thing right now. And I think that's really important to keep in mind, that you're not going to be the only one going through this. Even if there are only a few of you, there's like a few of you is more than none of you. So you're not going to be alone at any point in this process.
You guys know about the Alumni Network, and we talked about the power of the Alumni Network. These are some of the best and brightest people who are matriculating through these schools. You have automatic affiliation and in some cases access to these folks. Neil deGrasse Tyson went to Bronx Science. Jennifer Aniston went to LaGuardia. Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson's son goes to Stuy right now.
Did you guys hear that? Neil deGrasse Tyson's son goes to Stuy.
Yeah.
Lucy Liu went to Stuyvesant.
I mean, I was really happy. Stuy was my first choice. I knew I wanted to go there for high school. I knew great people that had gone there that said they loved it. And I was excited. I was ready for a change. I went to a really small middle school. And it was really exciting to be going to somewhere so big, somewhere that had so many like opportunities and chances and choices. It was great.
I was really happy too. I think like a lot of you guys, I wasn't immediately sure if I wanted to go to Stuy. But I just want to say, as a Stuy student, I am so glad that I made the decision to put Stuyvesant first, because I have had such a great experience so far. I've made so many connections. I've met such great people at Stuy, and I think that's so valuable to carry with you for the rest of your life.
And for me, so Stuyvesant was my first choice. I had missed it by about, I would say, like 18 points. So I was a little upset. I was like, oh my God, I worked so hard and but I had done well enough to get into Bronx Science. So my mentor, kind of got busy, was to try to convince me that Bronx Science made the most sense. I was not having it. I wanted to go to Brooklyn Tech. I went to my mom. I'm like, look, all of my friends are going to Tech. Why can't I go to Tech? This is so unfair. And they had to have that same conversation that I'm having with you about when you get into the best, you go to the best. Because the caliber of education that I got at Bronx Science was exceptional. And it didn't make sense for me to just select out of that just because my friends were going somewhere else.
Aren't there things to consider like commute and time and like
Great question.
in addition, support?
Commute, time, and support. So for me, coming from Brooklyn, I did all my homework on the train. I also had free periods while I was at Bronx Science, so I was able to get everything done. There was never a night, I've never pulled an all-nighter in my life for school. I never even understood that. Even at Duke, I was extremely good with time management. I just kind of had a home away from home and would just make the commute with my friends, back to Brooklyn every day. Hour and a half.
That's a sacrifice.
It's a significant sacrifice, but there are a lot of other people doing the exact same
I'm telling
thing.
you. Most of Bronx Science comes from Queens. Did you know that?
Exactly.
So I was not alone.
A huge number of kids from Stuy come from Flushing.
Right.
There are kids who come from
Everybody's
Staten
commuting.
Island that take
Yeah,
the ferry
exactly.
every day.
Yes.
That's the New York City experience,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
We all commute.
Yeah.
It might be an extra 30 minutes, than the next person, but that's just what it is to live in New York City. So we really push to get you guys out of this mindset that if a school is too far, I'm just not gonna go. If you get into the best school in the whole city, you find a way there.
Yeah.
There's kids that go to Bronx Science that take 2 hours to get to school. It wasn't that bad for me. And if my mom ever did drive me, which was few and far between, it only took about 40 minutes to get there. So it's not as much of a barrier as you guys, for whatever reason, are making it. Stuyvesant, in comparison to like a Brooklyn Tech, it's about one or two train rides
Exactly.
of a difference.
It took maybe 20 minutes for us to get from Stuy to here.
To here.
Yeah.
It did not take long at all.
that long.
So if it would have taken you probably 30 minutes to get to Tech, it probably takes you 40 minutes to get to Stuy.
Yeah.
So distance is definitely not an issue for a Stuyvesant. HSMSE is definitely in Harlem. That's at City College. So that's a little bit further. But again, if you get into a top school, you go.
And there are kids commuting. There are kids that take the LIRR every day, that take an hour and a half. There are kids that are coming from Staten Island that take the ferry every day. And they're here because they're committed, because they see the opportunity that they've been given, that they've worked for, and they want to take it.
So please keep that in mind and just put that whole decision kind of into your mindset around, what's most important? Is it that extra 30 minutes that I'll have to spend? You guys are young. Your only priority is school. So you want to make sure you're going to the school that's giving you the best training possible. That should be your only priority right now. Not if you have some time for the Pokemon Go or
plays that anymore. Nobody plays that anymore.
Jaden.
Except for Jaden. Jaden has no life.
all that stuff needs to get put to the side for these next 4 years. Any other questions? All right, cool. So we about to wrap this up. We are so excited for you guys. Go in there with confidence. Bring all the things that we talked to you about. Do not forget your pencils. Make sure they're sharpened and they're ready to go. Because there's thousands of kids taking this test. Nobody's gonna check for you who decided to not be prepared. Okay? So bring all of the things that you're gonna need to be successful. Time yourself. And I know we've come a long way with timing, but you need to make sure that you're approaching these problems with the time constraints that we talked to you guys about. For the math questions, 1 minute per problem. What's the time limit for scrambled paragraphs?
3 minutes.
For logical reasoning?
No, minutes for the whole thing.
Logical reasoning? A minute and a half. And then for reading comp, the whole
9 minutes.
9 minutes. Excellent. So you guys know what you're supposed to be doing. So you have your time, your timer. You know that a smartphone is not allowed, so don't do that. Like, do not be that kid that's asking, can I take out my smartphone? Like, it's a clear no.
Don't even bring it though.
Right, leave that home. Bring like you see, I knew you probably, there's somebody in this room that was gonna do that, so I'm glad that I said that. Bring a regular watch, a digital watch. So if some of you guys don't know how to, it's probably struggle with the analog time or whatever. So right, we don't got time for that. We worked on clockwork problems. If you don't got them, do not try it tomorrow on the test.
The teachers at Stuy, they're at Stuy because they wanted to be at Stuy. Stuy isn't just a draw for students, Stuy is a draw for teachers.
And so the caliber of teachers at Stuy is going to be much higher than many other public schools. So a lot of teachers are doctors, a lot of teachers have PhDs, have master's degrees. Like, these people are super qualified to be teaching you, and they're doing it because they're passionate about their field. So it's like a great opportunity.
So let me touch on that. If I'm a teacher, what is my job as a teacher? To teach the kids, right? What's the best environment that I would want to be in to do that job? No, it's not about style. If I'm a teacher, what will be the best environment where I feel like I can really do my job at the highest level? What makes for a good school?
Good students.
And describe these good students.
Smart.
Smart, what else?
You also need scholars, hardworking, committed.
Hardworking, committed, what else?
You don't need a
Resources.
Yeah,
If you can have smart boards, you can have a budget if you wanted to take the kids on a trip or something like that. If you wanted to maybe teach this physics lesson in a more creative way. What else would make my job as a teacher a lot easier?
The community,
The community. What about the community?
like between the teachers and the students.
Okay. What else?
The other teachers.
The other teachers. So you want to like actually be working alongside phenomenal instructors. Do you guys understand? Like, just try to like backwards plan your way through that question and understand that, again, schools like Stuyvesant, Bronx Science, Brooklyn Tech, they're getting the city's best kids. So you already kind of have a check for, okay, am I going to have to deal with that low motivated kid who doesn't want to be there? No. You're going to have a whole community of kids who take themselves seriously, take their education seriously, and they're going to show up to all classes ready to go, and they're prepared. They're about their business, okay? Then if I'm talking about, okay, if I have like faculty, if I'm like, in the break room with the other teachers, what's going to be happening? Wow, like I might meet someone who won this award, or someone who worked on this research paper, or someone who worked on Wall Street. So my network is also going to expand because I have access to these phenomenal instructors. Okay, what if I wanted to, again, teach this lesson and I needed a budget for it? I need a school that probably has some money to do that. That's what you're getting when you go into these schools. So to kind of add some depth to you guys' responses here, the teachers at these schools are phenomenal because they're well supported and they're in an environment where they can really shine as instructors. Okay? So to your question, Amani, they're amazing. Okay, so they're more than teaching. They're helping you guys to learn how to think. And that's more than any teacher could ever give you guys.